Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, Reviews May Vary. I'm Kenya, and this is a weekly vlog. Okay, it's a wrap up. All right, so I did not post a weekly wrap up last week because last week was the Anomaly Film Festival. So the Anomaly Film Festival, if you haven't heard me talk about it already, is a genre film festival based here in Rochester. And this year it was completely virtual, which was cool. And even though people were missing the getting together, especially in between the films to talk about them, you know, while you're getting more popcorn or at some of the after spots, it was still really cool to be able to access all of the films for the 4 days. And then if you started a film during the film festival, you had 4 days to watch it. So I was able to watch, I think 3 feature-length films, maybe only 2 feature-length films during the festival. And then some of the shorts, which came in kind of programs, like there were 8 shorts in one. So I watched 2 sets of those during the weekend. And then after the festival, I still had access to all the films because I started them on Sunday to make sure that I could watch what I wanted to. And I only got to 2 additional films. So, and each full-length film had a short attached to it. So let's see. One of the films was a French film about a young woman who falls in love with a carnival ride called Jumbo. So that one was interesting, as you can imagine. One of the feature-length films that I watched was from the puppeteer who created and then did some of the puppeteering for the original Gremlins movies. So that was pretty cool. He talked a little bit about how he didn't really know what he was doing, and it was a huge task, especially like think about the movie theater scene or the bar scene and all of that. So that was cool. And then the American Genre Film Archive did a movie, a feature-length compilation of old horror movie ads and trailers. So I watched that one. That was the last one that I watched on Wednesday of this last week. It was pretty cool to watch some of those old trailers, especially like the ones where they really hyped them for how terrifying they were. And there was one kind of like ongoing segment that was basically about this guy that has lost his mind because of how terrifying the movie was. So those were kind of cool. The film festival, since we weren't able to talk in between this year because it was a virtual festival, they had a Discord channel so that we could chat about the books, chat about the films as we were watching them. So that was actually a really great idea, and I'm so glad that they did that. And I think that's a good way to go. I'm actually going to recommend that for the virtual festival, for the Teen Book Festival this year or next year that Rochester TBF is planning for, because I thought that was a great option. So if you've never participated or watched the Anomaly Film Festival, and this is only their 2nd year, so it's a pretty good bet, keep an eye out for those guys because it's probably going to become a major Rochester festival in the years to come. So I'm looking forward to that really cool thing happening. But anyway, that's what got in the way of me recording and posting last weekend, because I was trying to fill my brain with as many films as possible. And I also went to the thrift store. So I got a couple new teacup sets, and I got these big Scrabble blocks. So obviously I got enough to put my whole channel name on there, but not a lot of room on the shelf today. I also went to the library, but I'll do a separate haul for those. But Kenya, don't you still have all those books? Yes, I still have lots of books from my last library haul. One of which was The Knife of Letting Go, which I need to read for my doorstopper from my TBR cards this month. And it was due back, and I had to go back to the library and tell them that I wasn't done with it, and could you please, please, please let me have it again? And they did, so that was awesome. What else happened this last week? I was supposed to have 2 book clubs, Read Harder, and we didn't meet, probably undoubtedly my fault. And then we also had Read Women, so that's a monthly Thursday book club. And we were just talking about what we'd been reading. So we didn't have a book that we collectively read. We just talked about recommendations. And for next month, actually for January, we decided to read 5th Season by N.K. Jemisin because it was on 3 of our TBRs anyway. And we decided to not talk about it in December because it's going to be a pretty heavy month for other things. So we just, and that book is a little bit longer and denser. So we decided to read it for January. So that's going on the old TBR cart. As soon as I open the box, I bought the box set a couple of months ago to reread the series, or to read the series, because I've never read 2 and 3. Oh, I also did my very first live chat about a book with Thistle and Verse, or her name's Chloe, but her channel name is Thistle and Verse. It was so fun. She hosted it on her channel because I didn't have any idea how to do a live chat, even though it was my idea to do it. And she agreed to do it with me. And so we discussed The Weight of Our Stars. And that book was very interesting. It's a YA romance. The main characters are a girl, they're I think 17 or 18, a girl who is sort of a misfit, and her friend group is a bunch of misfits, and they befriend this girl who wants to go into space. She is the daughter of a woman who was shot into space for science, and now she wants to go. And spoiler alert, so stop watching if you plan to read this book. She decides to stay, and the other girl decides to go in her place when she's given the opportunity to go. And I liked the story, and I didn't love the book. And Chloe didn't want to say she didn't love the book because she's a very nice reviewer. And I don't think she loved the book either. But we both thought the book was okay. And I would pick up another one from the author. I liked the writing. There were just some things about the story I didn't really love. One of which is that this young girl who's been taking care of her brother and her nephew for a number of years because their parents have passed away, decides to be shot into space for science, even though there's really no reason at all to do it. So it just didn't make sense to me. So that was a book I've read since the last weekly wrap up. And let's see, but it wasn't the book I was going to tell you guys about. I don't remember what book that was. I also read The Midnight Library, which I have a book discussion group for. I think next weekend is when we're going to do it. Sunday after Thanksgiving, so that must be next weekend. And The Midnight Library is about a woman who attempts to commit suicide and is given the option to see what her life would be like had she made different choices throughout her life. And it's basically like an opportunity to decide if she wants to pick one of those lives, or if she still wants to die, or if she wants to live the same life she's been living. And I think it's kind of like one of those books, like an apocalypse book. You know, there's only so many things that could happen at the end. And because either everybody comes back to life or everybody dies, or you just, you know, like Severance, where you just walk into the sunset or whatever. It was okay. I will probably like it more after the discussion. There are a number of us who've already read it, and everybody seems to have liked it more than I did. I didn't hate it. I just wasn't thoroughly impressed with the story. It is Matt Haig, and I tend to like him. I believe that I've read 2 2 other books of his. It felt a little overdone, maybe, you know, the flashback opportunity kind of story. But I did like the writing. I did like some of the, you know, considerations, you know, the philosophy around getting to relive your life and appreciating the life that you have and all those kinds of things. I do like those kinds of books. Let's see, did anything else happen over the last week? I don't think so. Thanksgiving is next week. So today I went to Walmart and bought a bunch of crap I don't need. In addition to all this stuff, my kid number 2 is going to cook all of Thanksgiving dinner. So I'm excited to see what they come up with for that. They have a whole menu, and we went and bought all the stuff today. And then my other kid number 1, and her boyfriend will be coming over to enjoy that together. So I've also been cleaning up today, which means that I have not read much of my current read, which is Lobezona by Romina Garber. So this book so far is about she's either 16 or 17-year-old girl who has been periodically gaining additional powers or abilities, I guess, over the course of the last several months. And she doesn't know who her father is, and she has very weird eyes, and she's been told the story about witches and werewolves from her homeland, which is, I believe, Argentina. So there's a lot of good stuff happening in this book. It's set in Florida. They're undocumented. And at the point where I am, about page 70, some shit just went down, and our girl is basically about to discover a lot of things about herself and her father and the things that her mother was not telling her about herself. So I'm excited to dig more into this book, but I've got a lot more cleaning to do. So we'll see how I feel tomorrow when I wake up, I guess. And I'm also going to post a separate video for the books that I got from the library. Maximize some video time. Oh, and the last thing, I got this cool, from Etsy, new wallet. You know how I love crap I don't need. I think I needed it. Okay. See you in the next one.